Hi, this is Outdoor Gear Chat from Kendal Mountain Festival. We're here with episode 77. Hello, Cathy. All right.
Yes, I'm good. Thank you, Wayne. Oh my gosh, it's been a very, very, very busy festival. And of all the amazing guests we have had, we are very, very lucky to be joined by Suunto sponsored athlete today, Sarah Perry. Welcome, Sarah.
Oh, hi, thanks for having me on.
Sarah, you are fresh back from smashing the world women's record in backyard ultra running. And for anybody who's listening who doesn't understand or isn't aware of backyard ultra, I'm just going to give a very quick window into your incredible achievement. So basically, you ran 95 laps of the same 4 mile course each hour on the hour and completed 400 miles in 95 hours. So that's effectively 4 days with pretty much no sleep. You've returned home to a whirlwind of publicity, including BBC 10 o'clock news. Have you had a chance to catch your breath and catch up with some proper rest?
Yeah, so I think I'm about 5 weeks out from the event now, so I'm just about caught up with the sleep. But yeah, it's been a bit crazy.
I think for me, the whole kind of thought of the backyard ultra and going around that same loop,
Loop.
going out 95 times to do that same loop, psychologically, that must be destroying. How do you prepare for each one?
So I guess you're in this little backyard bubble, and you've prepped for it. You know that that's going to be the case, and you kind of just take each lap at like one at a time. Like I try not to think about the bigger picture. I was never thinking, oh, I'm gonna, when I started, oh, I'm gonna be doing this for 4 days. I was just thinking, do this first lap, and then you kind of focusing on the smaller things too. So I'm thinking, oh, like what am I gonna eat when I get in for the next lap, or do I need to change my t-shirt, or so just focusing in on the small things, I think, is what gets me round.
And there's some amazing athletes across the world that do the backyard ultras, isn't there? And I think there was a fair list of who's who that was running with you. Was that pretty cool being alongside other amazing athletes?
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, because I like to follow all of these people on Instagram, and then
Yeah.
to kind of be lining up with them side to side was a little bit surreal, I guess. And we kind of lots of us grouped together, and like I learned a lot from watching lots of those incredible athletes. And yeah, they were really kind of big on keeping everybody in and trying to get everybody to run as far as possible. Which was just, yeah, it just created this really incredible atmosphere.
Oh, and Cathy explained the concept, but yeah, for listeners who might not know, it's a fairly famous person who came up with this ridiculous idea, isn't it? So yeah, just tell us a little bit more about that as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so Gary Cantrell, also more known as Lazarus Lake, it's his race. So Biggs, which is every 2 years, is held in his actual back garden. So, which is again quite bizarre. But he lives it and he loves it, and he rings every single bell. Like, he sets you off for every single lap, and you can just tell he's having the best time as he does it. So
So that explains why the actual route distance is 4.167 miles, because I thought that was kind of arbitrary. So it's actually literally around his backyard. Oh, that's incredible.
yeah, but when you do 24, 4.167, that obviously adds up to 100, doesn't it? So
Uh,
it's very like exact, and There is method in the madness, I think.
I guess it is, yeah, and he's famously behind the Barkley marathons as well, isn't he? And there's loads of those sort of weird things in the background of that of the story of that as well. Yeah,
Yeah, but things that actually, when you hear them and you clock them,
this
you're like, oh,
method.
that makes sense. Like, I get that now.
Oh, so we know you used your Suunto Vertical 2 watch over the 4 days, and we also know you didn't need to charge it either over that 4 days, which is quite incredible. Finished with some battery left over. How did you use it to pace yourself through the event?
So I used it on ultra mode, which is why I think I had something like 13% left after the event, and I used the backyard app. So basically, I just set my watch up using the app. So all that was shown was what lap I was on, the distance I covered within that lap, or actually no, the distance I had left within that lap, and the time that I had left within that lap. So I wasn't like bombarded with loads and loads of data. I could just focus, because that's all you need to know. Really, you're just focusing on that lap. So I just need to know, basically, am I going to get in on time, or do I need to move a little bit faster? So that was perfect for just like keeping me on track with where I was, I guess.
So do you use all the stats when you get back?
Like from the data from the race.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I have to say, I don't. Like if I was doing a race or like an effort or something like that, maybe I'd look at like my heart rate and like all of that stopping time, because when you're doing a point to point, it's very different, isn't it? You're kind of wondering, oh, where did I lose time? Where could I have gained time? I think it's very different. You analyze the stats differently to like a backyard. It's very set. You have to get in within the hour. So I know that I did every 4.167 mile loop like within an hour, and there's not really a lot to look at. I'm sure if you talk to someone like Phil Gore, and some of those other runners that are at the top of the game at the backyard, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they analyze everything. But for me, I don't know what there is. Yeah, I don't know if that's
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. No, stay away from it. You don't want to get sucked into that, looking at all the data anyway. But do you know what was your average time then? Do you know?
Because it came up on the it does it. When you look at the tracking,
Yeah,
it comes up on there. I think it might have been. I don't know, to be honest.
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Something in the 50s, I think, yeah. But there was also somebody, I can't remember who it is, but there's somebody who analyzes like all of the data. He's called like the stat guy, and he gave us like, it was like a 50-page PDF, but on not for me personally, but for everybody. And one of the things was on the end was like a graph of like your time per lap, so you could but it was the same for everybody, so you started quite not fast, but you just it just slows down.
The war of attrition starts. Yeah. Well, I know it's probably the same guy. I remember years ago when Barkley Marathon started on Twitter, there was this guy that emerged, and it was all the nicknames, because you never know who's actually running, do you? It's like English guy or ponytail guy or whatever it be, and all the stats for each lap. It's absolutely brilliant. Love that people get that engaged in stuff from a distance, don't they?
So do you use I assume you use your watch to train, do you? Because it's got loads of different functions, hasn't it, for recovery and things like that?
Yeah, so I mean, there's loads of features that I use. One of the things that I really love is I'll do like 1 or 2 sessions a week. So what I'll do is I'll just like basically put whatever session I want into my watch, just like super quick, and then I'll go on the treadmill or whatever, or like on the hill and do my session, and it will just talk me through it, which I think that's a brilliant feature. But other things that I'll track, like my HRV, heart rate variability, that helps me know kind of how like recovered I am. and I do track my heart rate. I do track my sleep. It could be endless. You could track like endless data on your watch, and I know some people are really, really into that. But I have to kind of like be careful not to be tracking too much data, because I get a little bit obsessive with numbers.
Now we know you're a maths teacher, so I'm guessing that's probably why.
Yeah.
You're also part of the West Cumbria Mountain Rescue Team, and do you use your watch when you're out with the team as well and while out on rescues?
Yeah, so Suunto really kindly gave us some watches for the team, and so lots of our call outs are for missing persons. So what we would do is the police would give us our search area. We want you to search this area, and then as a team we decide how we're going to kind of do that. So one thing that we use the watches for is to track the area that we've searched, and then sometimes it might be, we couldn't do this area or that area, and we can just send like a screenshot of what we have searched, what we haven't searched, over back to the police. And it's really, really useful for that.
Oh, amazing. I'm kind of conscious we're sort of going over time, and you've got a very, very busy festival. But I think one thing I just really want to point out is it wasn't just the world women's record that you smashed, but it's actually the UK men's and women's record, hands down.
Wow, awesome.
By really quite some distance. So I think that's maybe going to stay in place for a while. So our massive well done. It's been so lovely to meet you, Sarah. Thank you so much for taking time out from your festival. And actually there's one last thing we just wanted to point out, because we spoke beforehand, just before we started recording, for backup team Luke as well. Yeah. Because obviously running the event is incredible, but behind the scenes there's always a team behind the scenes, isn't there? And keeping you going. So how was his role for you during your event?
He was amazing. Most people had a couple of people at least on the team, and he just did it by himself. And he stayed up the entire time, so he didn't sleep either.
I think he was saying that he was hiding from people by the end because people were wanting to talk to him.
Yeah, there was cameras everywhere, and he hates that kind of thing, but he did so brilliantly. Lucky to have him.
It is.
Oh, Sarah, thank you so much for chatting to us. It's absolutely super. If you are wanting to know more about Suunto watches, you could listen back to episode 68 of our podcast, and Time for Tech. We talk with Dan from the Suunto team, and there's a whole range of information available at our website, jbrownoutdooracademy.com, and of course you can check out the whole range of Suunto watches for sale at our shop at climbashop.com.